Tim and I just basically would load the car up with bagels and power bars and drive around the country going to races, when we could afford it. And I mean, it was a real learning process. Our whole goal was just like so many people out there was to do an Ironman, and we kind of figured, well, we'll be on the 5-year plan, and geez, we both qualified at pretty much our first events, and that kind of changed things, and really got our first break with Peter DeGeorge and the DeGeorge racing team, and that really was a stepping stone to everything else. But it was all unknown then, so it was a lot of fun, a lot of hardship. But it's one of those things. If you believe in what you're trying to achieve, then it all makes it worthwhile.
I don't think we ever had any real goals of being pro when we first started. We were just doing it because
I'm just living the dream.
Yeah, just living the dream, baby. It was all about just, I think, following our hearts, which was all about working out and training and having fun.
We're training addicts. We just didn't want to grow up. So
it was very, I was like, I wasn't ready to go make that jump into med school yet. Once college was done, and but I think it definitely. I did Ironman my first year of racing. I was 21 years old, and nowadays it's just, guys jump into the pro ranks. They don't come up through the amateur ranks really anymore. There's very few, especially foreign athletes. I if you're Aussie and you got some talent, you race pro. And I definitely think it shortens your career a little bit. And then they do Olympic distance racing, then they maybe jump into a half, and then they slowly maybe make that transition to an Ironman, but they fully prepare for it. It's more like track and field now, or cycling professionally, where, if you're 22, you don't do the Tour de France. You start it and stop after a week or something. And, I definitely have been around from, I raced with Mark Allen, and I'm still racing now. And so I've crossed that generation. It's hard to believe I'm one of the old school guys now and a veteran, and I still feel very young, but it's just so to see the changes that have happened since we've started getting into the Olympics and this. It's
you don't really get those that kind of a guy anymore. Like the Tim DeBooms or the Cam Wiedoffs who just got into the sport, wanted to race Ironman. That's what they do. We got there's a few of them out there. Luke Bell started young and got into it, but most of them kind of go Trenzo Bozzoni. I'm sure he would. If he started doing Ironman, you never know. He's got a lot of speed, so he'd have a lot of success at the short. But sure like to see him,
It's just become a lot more professional, where it has become about the dollar, and guys are avoiding Ironman because they can earn a living or, race so many more times and earn some money doing Olympic and halves, and probably have a little more success. With Ironman, if you do an Ironman, it takes 2 to 3 months out of a season, and so it really does take some commitment. When I was younger, I definitely didn't focus on Ironman.